Reverend Will, welcome to this week's Midweek Devotion. My family moved across town the summer before fifth grade. I was given the choice to stay at my old school or transfer to the one that was literally 2 blocks away. For whatever reason, I decided to enroll in the new school. Maybe I wanted the ability just to walk there. Maybe I wanted a fresh start. Maybe most of my friends had already moved on to the middle school and I was just a year behind. Honestly, I don't remember why. What I do remember is having to start over on the social hierarchy. I didn't know a soul, so no one knew anything about me. They didn't know if I was smart or not, athletic or not, funny or not, wealthy or not, musical or not. I was at the bottom of the social ladder. I would not have made anyone's favorite list. And one memory sticks in my mind. At recess, some of us would play kickball. There was the normal dividing of teams. Captains would be chosen. We'd line up and they'd take turns picking kids for their team. I was never the last pick, like in some movies, but I was never the first either. Our play yard was a two-tiered hill. The bottom was for the third, fifth graders, and the top for the kindergarten through second graders, with a fence dividing the two at the top. If you kicked the ball in kickball over the fence at the top of the hill, it was a home run. And if you kicked a home run, you shot up the social ladder, desirable to be picked at recess and liable to be included in all things. Adulation, commiseration, affirmation, you'd get them in spades. No doubt you would have a place on someone's favorite list. The fence was always the goal, at least for me. And I did it once. The bell rang, signaling the end of recess, and as his kids want, one last pitch was thrown. And for whatever reason, I took the opportunity to cut in line. I ran up and kicked the ball. It flew, soared, landing over the fence. And I thought I'd made it. I thought I'd proved my mettle. I thought glory would be mine. But then I looked and no one was watching. No one noticed. No one cared. They were all running to get in line so that they wouldn't get in trouble at the doors. And I was left there by myself, painfully aware my achievement would not matter. I was still on the outside looking in of preferred kickball participants. If I gotten over it, sure. But that feeling of knowing you're not in, not anyone's favorite, always leaves a mark. We live now with divisions of who's in and who's out, who is good, who is bad, who is worthy and who is unworthy, with deadly consequences. Even if we try to remember a time when this wasn't so, a brief tour of our history shatters any attempt at rose-colored glasses. Anti-miscegenation laws, women's inability to get a credit card, internment camps, criminalizing same-sex activity. And those are just from the 20th century. Human history is rife with us playing favorites, often with violence as an immediate outcome. And that's one of the reasons why the Christian gospel is still so inflammatory if we don't neuter it. Part of our reading from Acts 10 this last week gets to this. It read, Peter said, I really am learning that God doesn't show partiality to one group of people over another. Rather, in every nation, whoever worships him and does what is right is acceptable to him. And later, at the end of his speech, his sermon, Peter says, all the prophets testify about Jesus, that everyone who believes in him receives forgiveness of sins through his name. For you see, God does not show partiality. God does not play favorites. No, Jesus came to earth to shower God's grace and mercy indiscriminately, like a sower who sows seed in every type of soil. He came to seek out and save the lost no matter where they might be from. He came to do good for and heal anyone oppressed by the devil. That's from verse 38 of our reading. In life and in death, Jesus was for all. He didn't play favorites like we do, inviting everyone to give up their life, follow him, and go to the table. John 3:16 might get overplayed, but it is appropriate here. God so loved the world that he gave his only son so that everyone who believes in him won't perish but have eternal life. The key for today is loved the world and everyone who believes, not a particular subset of people. Of course, you can't read verse 16 without then reading 17. God didn't send his son into the world to judge the world, but that the world might be saved through him. But even here again, it is the world that isn't judged, but saved. God's vision of redemption, salvation, and justice are bigger than the dividing lines we put up. It's global in scale. God doesn't play favorites, but loves without abandon. In Jesus, God crosses every fence we build, even if one that's just on our recess playground, and meets us in the places where we know what it is like to be overlooked, forgotten, and left out, not to demand us to do better, but to give mercy, not to ask us to earn our place, but to hand one to us freely. And that isn't just good news for the overlooked. It's salvation for the whole world, including you. Thanks for joining us for this week's Midweek Devotion. We hope that you will share it and like it with someone who you think needs to hear it. You're invited to join us for worship this Sunday morning. We gather for worship at 10:30. But if not, our blessing is the same as always. God be with you till we meet again.